What up, good people? It's Nurse Cindy, and today I wanted to share a couple of tips that I've learned along the way as being a registered nurse. Now, when I started off, I got advice from everyone around me to help me with my confidence as I enter the field. Now, these tips aren't just for nurses in the beginning or nurses in the middle. These tips aren't only just for nurses, honestly. These tips are for anyone who wants to be their best self within their workspace and their career. So if you aren't already sitting down, go ahead, grab a seat, get comfortable, and stay tuned. Alright guys, so I want to start off with tip number 1. You can never know enough, and you won't know everything. Because 1, it's humanly impossible, and times are always evolving. Medicine is always changing, and technology is advancing. So with that being the case, it's a good idea to make subscriptions to magazines that relate to your field, or webinars or websites. Also, do some research and join organizations that will help you stay ahead and in the know. Tip number 2. Being a nurse is more than just following doctor's orders. You have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because we're in a field where we're taking care of patients and they're trusting us with their lives. So we have to be well versed within our role. That goes for waitresses, architects, and anyone that's in customer service. You have to do more than carry a title. Know what you do and why you do it. Tip number 3. You have got to have tough skin. Now, when I started off, I thought that I had the skin of a rhinoceros, but that wasn't the case. I got tested emotionally, mentally, and physically, and in the beginning, it really did get to me, and I started to break down. But I realized that patients are in a vulnerable moment, and they're counting on us to help them through it. So with that being the case, you have to step out of the situation, assess it, and not just be caught up on how you're feeling, because we have a responsibility and we have an expectation. Now that just isn't for nurses, that's for everyone in different fields. Don't get so caught up on how you're being affected, but remember the role that you have in the situation and follow through. Tip number 4. Don't get caught up in work gossip or work drama. Because what you tell someone about your personal life today can be used to hurt you tomorrow. Now, if you're not even on the board of directors, you need to find that queen of the rumor mill and stay far away from her. Because the relationships that you keep can affect the opportunities that you're presented with. Because honestly, we're judged by who we hang out with. The way that our friends act are kind of expected to be seen in us. So if you don't want to be reflected in a manner that doesn't represent you, you need to build your relationships cautiously. Tip number 5. You have to take care of yourself. It's okay to be selfish. This is something that I had to acknowledge and accept when I started as a nurse. In my personal life, I'm so used to giving so much of my time and making sure that everyone around me is happy. And then when I went from personal life to work, I was doing the same thing, and I slowly lost myself and started to feel a little down. And I realized, you know what? I don't really do anything fun. I don't take care of myself. So I started to do a little me time. I found a hobby, and I decided to use it as my outlet to make sure that I was mentally, emotionally being taken care of. So you really need to do the same for yourself, because if you take care of yourself, you can be your best and give your best 100% of the time. Tip number 6. Don't be afraid to speak up. Oftentimes, we don't share our ideas because we feel that they're not going to be accepted. But if you have an idea for change, speak up. If you see a problem that needs some improving, share your ideas. This took me some time to do, but once I started getting into the comfort of sharing my ideas and not being afraid if they were going to be accepted, I started to have more confidence in myself. And I know that you guys can too. Remember that your gut is your best friend. And your voice is your power, so start using them. Okay guys, so this last tip is really important. Turn down your radio, make sure that you're in park if you're driving while listening to this, and close the door, because I want you to listen carefully. Love what you do, and if you don't force it, period. If you're in a situation where you wake up every day miserable because you really don't want to face it, get out of it. Make a commitment today to start doing what you love. If you don't know what it is, do some soul searching, start praying, and be guided. Because honestly, God has a great way of guiding us to what He has for us, and He knows what's going to fulfill it. Alright guys, I'm really confident that the tips that I shared today can help anyone within any stage of life and any career. If you're trying to advance and climb up that ladder, consider the tips that I shared. If you haven't done so already, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, show me some love by liking this video, leave me some comments below so I know what you think and I know what else you want to hear. Don't keep this video to yourself and share it. I'll see you guys next time.